Hey Explorers, this episode was brought to you by Anchor.fm. It's the distribution service that we use to get this podcast to you. And to be honest, it's great. It's free. There's tons of creation tools that let you edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. They upload it to everything, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and tons of others. You can even make money with no minimum listenership. So it's got everything you need in just one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Editor Toby here. We kind of sort of used the wrong mic for the first 5-10 minutes, but we fix it afterwards, so stick around. Back to the episode.
Okay, now we know the way to not hurt your feelings if it turns out total ass.
Hello everyone.
Welcome to Rules is Written.
We're here with a third person.
Yes, today we're brought our special Finnish correspondent.
Hey everyone, it's T-Rain here. I have to say I'm so honored to be in the biggest D&D podcast in the People's Republic of China, the most popular and the most
That is
best.
probably a title we can legitimately claim.
It's true.
Wonderful.
Best produced, most listened to, the
Our
best
most accolade.
All right, so what is this episode about today?
Today we're going to talk about the beefy attack.
The attack action.
Yeah, the big boy.
So, what is attack? How do I attack? What do I do?
So, there are 3 stages to an attack. You choose your target.
Easy enough. I
Yeah.
choose Tomo.
What?
It's happening.
Oh, you're
Roll
sucking
initiative.
me?
Roll initiative.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
With
so
dice.
you point and say this fucking guy.
This fucking guy.
Yeah, as we've discussed previously.
So aggressive.
You determine your modifiers. So this will just be based on the context of the situation you may have.
So I'd roll with disadvantage because he's a close friend and I don't actually want to hurt him.
Aw.
Yeah, that's up to your roleplay factor. So
Okay.
You say that role play as though he's not actually a close friend. I'm just role playing it
you
out.
have to really, really get into character.
Oh man,
with
we're already hurting feelings here.
this. Starting strong. With
No.
Our first and last time we have our friend T-Ren. And then you resolve the attack.
I feel like
Deal
that is
the damage.
That's the majority of the rules.
Yeah, that doesn't really help when I get into these 3
It's like,
phases.
and draw the rest of the owl.
Yeah, and then draw the owl.
Draw 2 circles, then draw the rest of the owl.
Yes.
All right, what's next? How do we start this?
Well, let's talk about the rest of the owl.
All right.
First, you're going to be making an attack roll. So an attack roll is where you roll your d20.
Yep.
You add your modifiers, which we'll talk about soon.
Wonderful.
And then that will be contested by the target's armor class.
AC, which will be on your sheets in the center, maybe a little bit to the right with a big shield around it.
Question. So how does it work actually? You attacking me now, alright? This fucking guy.
Yeah.
And I'm
This fucking guy.
this fucking guy. And I have AC of 15. And you
Yeah.
hit me with a 14. It's not gonna hit me at all?
No,
or
it
something?
won't hit you at all. In fact, it needs to equal or exceed the AC.
Okay.
So equal hits if you've got a AC of 15 and I roll a 15, then I'll be hitting you. But I'm going to need more.
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 More points.
More points.
Okay, so
How much do you want to hurt me then?
So we talked about AC.
Yes.
I don't think we talked about AC
Maybe.
previously. I think we're going to come to AC more when we do weapons and armor. But AC is essentially, you'll have a base amount depending on your armor. So the heavier your armor, the better your AC. And then it will be plus your dexterity.
Yes.
If you have light armor. If you have medium armor, it's plus your dexterity with a cap, which I think is 2. And heavy armor, you don't add your dexterity.
Yeah.
And also you can't stealth in heavy armor, or there's a few other disadvantages.
Yeah.
We'll get to it in the weapons. and
Yeah,
armor.
if we haven't talked to it, we will get to that. I do like the flavor of AC, because I've always thought that AC was literally your armor, right?
Yeah,
so you
it's-
get hit and it doesn't hurt you.
It's more than that.
But
the
it's not
flavor.
necessarily,
The
right?
flavor is more.
Yeah, because your wizard does not have any. Well, to be fair, your wizard is getting hit. So maybe a different kind of class, like your monk or
Rogue.
something.
Yeah,
Your-
monk.
Yeah, either right. They're not heavy armored. They don't have any armor, I believe.
Leather
And
is normally the standard.
maybe they have leather, but their AC isn't because they get hit and don't get hurt, it's because they like, I don't know, dodge. it.
Yeah, that's where the dex comes from. That's where the dex modifier.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah. So
How do you feel about that, T-Rain?
Oh man,
You feel like you're learning?
I guess I'm learning.
You're in the learning chair today.
Yeah, boy.
sit down.
Do you have any questions about AC and attack rolls before we move into
I
the
think
modifiers?
we're good for now. I think I got the basic gist of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what's the modifiers? What modifiers can we slam on this attack roll?
So there's the ability modifiers, and this will depend on the weapon that you're using.
This is basically every attack you make, you'll add this.
Yeah,
in a
you'll know
normal game.
based on like your weapon and your class.
Yeah.
Right. So it's gonna be like strength or dex. We're talking
Yeah.
about melee here. You know, wizards, wait, like hold on. We'll get to you.
Hold on to your butts.
We'll get to you. But for melee attacks, it will be strength or dex, depending on the type of weapon. So
So rogues will use anything small and finesse, daggers, those
yes,
kind of
so
things.
if it says finesse,
Rapiers as well. A lot
or
of people
thrown,
start with rapiers
if it
and
says
thrown.
then that means that you use your dex. Basically, anything else, it'll be your strength.
Anything that you hit hard,
Okay.
you use your strength. And you just add your strength modifier straight.
What
Yeah.
about fists? If you're just punching someone in the face.
That is an unarmed attack, which is 1d4, I believe, plus your strength modifier.
Yes,
so that's
and
separate.
you do add your ability modifier to hit. Yeah, good question, T-Rain.
Yeah, I can do that.
Glad you're here.
Yeah. There you go.
The second thing that you'll add is your proficiency bonus. So if you're proficient in your weapon, which you probably are, unless
Something's gone horribly wrong.
something's gone wrong, or you dumb.
Unless you're a wizard.
Oh yeah, or you're a wizard.
Yep.
Then you add your proficiency bonus, and your proficiency bonus is something that's on your character sheet that I also don't remember if we talked about or not.
Well, so proficiency is essentially as you go up levels on your class table, you'll have a table of stuff you get at different levels. On the left-hand side, there will be a number between +2, I think is the lowest, and +6 is the highest.
We did talk about proficiency bonus because you talked about the dice proficiency bonus. that you use.
Well, there you go.
So that comes only by levels?
Yeah, your proficiency goes up by levels. I'm sure there's...
Everybody has the same.
yeah, every class gets proficiency at the same rate. I think there are some items that may increase your proficiency bonus. There's definitely some homebrew ones, that's for sure.
We can make them right now.
All right, ring of proficiency, +1 proficiency.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it should be more contextual. Like I have a homing sword.
Oh, that's actually quite good.
It also has a personality though, so it might just attack the people that it wants to attack. But it will with a really high proficiency.
That's quite good. All right, what's next?
Okay, here's a fun part about D&D that I think always is like a very famous part about D&D, but
Yeah.
maybe doesn't get like a lot of rules as written treatment. So if you roll a 1,
Your crit fails.
Or
Your
20.
crit succeeds.
yeah, in the rules as written, it's actually kind of simple, maybe disappointingly so. Right? Like
Yeah.
everyone has
I
an
think this
idea
is
of what it
probably one of the
should be.
most like home ruled rules.
Yes.
I think everyone kind of agrees that the D&D rules are boring the way when it comes to crits.
So the special rules that do apply when you have a 1 or a 20 is 1 automatically fails no matter what, 20 automatically succeeds no matter what. So even if the target's AC is above what you could reasonably hit,
Yeah.
you would hit it.
Okay, so you can theoretically take down Orcus.
Yes.
Wait, critical hits go through the AC. You know?
Yes.
So if you roll a 20,
Okay.
you will hit no matter what AC.
matter what.
If they have like a 30 AC and there is
and
no
you're level
way-
1, if
yeah,
you
you're
roll
level
that,
1,
you're
there's no
gonna
way
get
you
your 2d4 damage in.
Okay.
can get 'em.
Okay. Wait, you roll with fists again? With different
Yes.
dice?
No, that'll. So what I was talking about before was damage dice. So that's how much
Oh.
damage.
Yeah, you roll
Okay,
different
so-
damage dice.
so
but the
damage
same
dice and then you
attack
have-
roll.
You're always rolling
Yeah.
a d20 to attack.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's the attack roll and then the damage roll.
Oh,
right
I
now,
see.
right now we're really just talking about the attack roll.
Okay.
So like, do you hit or not?
Do you hit or not?
Yeah.
Okay, so even if they have heavy armor on, they have all sorts
Yeah,
of stuff like
no matter
protective
what.
spells or whatever, you're just gonna punch him in the
You
face.
punch straight through all those layers.
One punch man!
Yes.
Oh man, that's a lucky man. It's always D20, D20,
The power.
D20.
Don't know how, but the microphone changed again.
So is there any extra damage?
We can talk about that next episode.
Yeah, next
There
episode is going to be damage and healing.
Yeah, so we can talk about crit damage.
Cool. Okay, what's the next rule we got?
So now we can talk about what happens if you can't see your target.
So if you're having a Metal Gear Solid campaign?
Yeah, you're in the box, they're in the box.
Or you're both in the box.
Both in the box.
And it's very confusing.
So in the rules as written, they give you a little bit of leeway with this. So it matters where they are and where you're trying to attack. So imagine somebody went invisible and maybe you decided that they moved somewhere.
Yeah.
I can still try to make an attack on where I think they are. So if I've guessed correctly, roughly, then I can, like if I would reasonably be in like an area where I could hit them.
Yeah.
Then
if they're in a corridor, they've gone invisible in the corridor, it's like, well, there's only one dimension you can go here.
I have some swing radius, like maybe I can get them. So you make an attack roll with disadvantage. So that's how you can hit them. But if they're not in that location, then you
It just misses.
Yeah.
So that's something the DM will know.
Yeah. Be nice about it though, right? Like.
Yeah, that's a tip for DMs. Let your players do cool shit sometimes. Like just let them hit stuff.
Question: what was the rules of disadvantage again? Like, if I have to hit with disadvantage, what does that mean in
So
reality?
to recap, the rules of disadvantage. Disadvantage is where you roll 2 attack dice, so 2 d20s, and you take the lower number.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's disadvantage. And then advantage is just, balance.
And you can have disadvantage and advantage on your attack rolls, your skill checks, and your saving throws.
Yeah.
I see. I
Pretty
guess I
much
should
anything,
listen to
really.
your previous podcast again.
Exactly.
Yeah, get some refreshers. We really brought him on to indoctrinate him. To show you know nothing.
Okay, so that's unseen attackers. Is there anything else in unseen attacks?
That's pretty much it.
Targets?
It's a whole lot of words to say basically just that.
Okay.
Right.
So we talked about hitting people next to you, but what if you want to dick on someone slightly further away?
You are a long bowman or a short bowman. so yeah, attacking with range.
Yeah.
There's a few ways that you can go about this. Obviously if you have a bow and arrow.
That's the easiest one. This is when you'll be using your dex a lot more than your strength.
Yeah. Then
This
you'll
is when
have
the
the
dex
dex,
comes through.
the dex for the attack rolls.
Yeah.
Right. Or if you have a thrown weapon.
Which is again dex.
Which is again dex. And your weapon will tell you the range of the weapon. There'll be 2 numbers there. So the first number will be your normal range on the bow that you can attack at.
Yeah, so for example, if you have the numbers 120 and 300.
Yeah, the 120, that will be like your normal. You can attack up to 120 feet normally, and then you make a normal attack roll. If it's between 120 and 300, then you'll be attacking with disadvantage. So you can still hit them, but with disadvantage. If it's beyond that, then you don't hit them at all.
Okay.
You can't physically.
So you can, if someone's really far away, you can like try and get them. I'm imagining the scene in Hot Fuzz where he launches like that spray can at the hooligan
yes.
running away. That was with disadvantage.
There's
He
your
made it.
ranged attack with disadvantage and a nat 20.
And a nat 20.
So what happens then if they're like literally 5 meters away? They're like literally just in front of me, and
You
I'm
can
being...
kind of guess actually. So like if you have like a bow and arrow and somebody's like right next to you, then it's like more difficult to hit them, right? It's not
Yeah, because-
easier. It's like it's
Because
harder.
you've got to put yourself in a vulnerable position, I guess.
Yeah.
Like you're not there to parry.
So if they're within 5 feet, you attack with disadvantage.
Really?
Instead.
So is that the same for everything? Does every ranged weapon have the same minimum range, 5 feet?
yes. I mean, like yes, but if they say something different.
Okay, so
Because I mean, I don't know. D&D is a very big game. Like maybe there's some.
always exceptions.
But like by and large, like the standard is that if they're within 5 feet, then you attack with disadvantage on them. What's interesting is that I read this over a few times, and I actually think that it's if any hostile creature is next to you. It doesn't matter who you're attacking.
That also kind of makes sense, though, doesn't it?
Because they're just kind of like it's like in basketball you have the guy that's going like whoa, whoa.
Love the hand motions you got front.
Yeah, I feel like doing it is still important because it
You feel it in your
transfers-
diaphragm, don't you?
Transfer is over.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you don't have a weapon that you can parry away attacks, if someone's next to you, if you're trying to hit someone else, but you can't use your sword to defend yourself.
Yeah,
it's
they're blocking you.
Yeah, using a weapon is just as much defending yourself as attacking, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have a bunch of questions here already.
Oh, right, here we go.
Hit us with it.
Question number
Rapid
one.
fire.
Question number
Machine gun T-range.
Oh, yes. If I have a bow and arrow and they fight with feet away, I might be, maybe I don't want to shoot them. Can I take the arrow and literally stab them with the arrow? Is that a thing I can do?
Love the energy, first of all.
Yeah, is it important?
I think a lot of people might allow it as an unarmed attack.
Okay.
Or an attack with an improvised weapon.
Maybe an improvised weapon? How would you
Yeah,
determine
that would
what
make
kind of
sense.
damage that would do?
Improvised weapon have set stats. I believe it's a D6. An improvised weapon.
So, in the spirit of this episode, what kind of attack roll would you be making? Would you have disadvantage in this context? Would you have, like, your normal proficiency bonuses?
You wouldn't have any proficiency bonus because you can't be proficient in arrow.
You may have done this before. You are Legolas.
Unless, if you've done it enough throughout the campaign, I might bless you with
Okay.
proficiency for it. So I don't think you'd have proficiency. You would probably use strength, I imagine. Maybe dex, because it's more dagger-like than sword-like, isn't it?
I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's quite contextual. I
We
think
could
also
talk about
based
this more
on
with the... I feel like
character
maybe
as
when
well.
we go to improvised weapon, we can flesh this out. Like
Yeah, definitely. I also, just as a general rule of thumb, I would probably just lean towards whatever stat that player has highest.
Right.
Like if it's a barbarian using it, then you just cram it in with all your strength.
And that might be true to form as well. Like I feel like you lean into
It's
your
also
strengths.
it's just a feels good moment, isn't it? You
Yeah.
just you get to roll higher dice. It's fun for everyone.
Yeah, that D4.
Question number 2.
All right, we're ready.
Which might be the same question because, okay, now I have my bow, but I don't have any arrows left.
So you stab them with the bow.
Oh, I guess I could trip them, I could choke them, I could hit them in the face.
Yeah,
There's many
it's the
options.
same thing. It would be,
yeah.
So you want to see like what else can you do with like what?
Yeah, basically, like because I'm thinking about me in the situation, and I would improvise if I don't have all the,
Keyword, improvise. It would be an improvised weapon.
Oh, there you go.
And maybe
There
this
you
could
go.
also be a skill check moment. I can imagine where like if you're trying to do something specific, you want to like trip them, you want to knock them down.
Yeah, that
maybe
could be sleight of hand, maybe.
Yeah.
Depending on how sneaky you want to be, or
could be like just an
stealth.
athletics check if you're just going straight at it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Roll against
So there's
their
there's a lot of
dexterity.
room for flavor. I think that's obviously something that's true throughout all of D&D.
Yeah, I guess the way that you're doing it is the key.
So I think that's something that's just true throughout all D&D.
Yeah, like the way that you're doing it is what determines what kind of
Yeah,
role
it's full of flavor. It's just
Yeah.
all about getting that flavor in.
Yeah. So listen to the bit about skill checks.
Question number 3.
All right, here comes rapid fire.
I actually don't remember the third question. Maybe it'll come back to me. We can get back to it.
We really should have notepads when we record these episodes.
So that's ranged attack. It's basically the same as any other attack, except you're probably using dex and your ranges are a bit different. Is
This
there
is
anything
where
else to
it'll
add?
matter more, like how far away things are and stuff. What do we have next, JT? I'll tell you what we have next. Melee attacks.
All right.
Yeah, the other form of attack, also known as
Attack.
So yeah, you've got swords, you've got rapiers, you're ready to hit stuff. Melee attacks is a lot simpler, actually. You attack within a 5-foot range of yourself.
Yeah, so a square next to you.
Yeah, 1 square next to you. For those tabletops out there, we still love you.
You're really intent on segregating these two groups.
I just want to be inclusive.
All right, so 5-foot range?
Yeah, 5-foot range, and this is like, your regular sword, axe, whatever. Mm-hmm. That's 5 foot unless your weapon specifies something greater, so you can have a big weapon.
Yeah, there's also the keyword reach. If your weapon has reach, then you can reach 10 foot, I believe. But that'll be in the weapons episode.
Yeah, we'll go through that.
So the person does not affect the range at all. So if you're a guy with really long arms, no effect.
Well, you
We
would
covered that in
actually...
the size class.
Yeah, you would. If you have a bigger size, theoretically, if you've got really long arms for some reason,
You take
maybe
up
your
more
size
squares.
would go up, and you would measure from the edge of your square. Basically.
Yeah, but the reach stays the same though. Like so your size takes up more space, but the reach stays the same.
because your size is also
Is the
your
reach.
zone of control.
Yes.
So you may be just a medium creature with really long hands, so you get upgraded to large or something. So you're now controlling a 10 foot by 10 foot area instead of a 5 foot by 5 foot. Then you are attacking people adjacent to that 10 foot area.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's giving you an extra 5 feet in essence.
Cool.
Good question, T-Rain.
Yeah, I'm trying my best. Trying my best.
And then if you're doing an unarmed strike, then it's like what we talked about earlier, but you add 1 plus your strength modifier for your damage. You still have your proficiency bonus and everything. And this is if you're doing like a punch, kick,
Add
headbutt.
1 plus your strength modifier.
Yeah, so at least you do that 1, even if you have 0. If you have negative, though, this is a potential. If you have -2 strength, you can give health to somebody.
I don't think that's how that works.
You can punch heal people.
Okay, fair enough. That is something I want to homebrew. What's the next part? Opportunity attacks.
Yes.
We talked about this a bit in the last episode.
We did talk about opportunity attacks because it makes more sense with like movement, right? Like you're moving away from something. If you're engaged in combat, if you're next to something and you move away, you provoke an opportunity
if you're
attack.
not taking the time to disengage, to like actively remove yourself from combat,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
So this part is about the actual attacking part of an opportunity attack.
Okay.
So let's say somebody else provokes your attack of opportunity, and you get to fucking hit that fucking guy.
That guy right there.
That guy right there. So this is where you'll use your reaction in order to hit them.
So you can only do 1 attack of opportunity per turn
Yeah.
because it's a reaction.
Yes.
You have to use your reaction.
Unless you have that special ability that we talked about earlier.
Yeah. Unless you mark them.
Yeah, with that fucking guy. So that's like the benefit of that.
All right. That's pretty much it for opportunity attacks. It's
That's
pretty
much it.
straightforward.
You make a normal attack roll.
Yeah.
So you still have to roll your attack out, and it's a normal attack roll.
It's just a free attack, basically.
Yeah, and you can also choose to forego your opportunity attack if you want.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any other special rules?
Not for attack of opportunity. So we can get into 2-weapon fighting now.
Ooh,
Yeah. So 2-weapon fighting is like 1-weapon fighting, except you have another weapon.
JT, you're blowing my mind.
Yeah. So this is actually quite straightforward as well. Except the second weapon is a bonus attack that you'll be making.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you use your bonus action to make that attack.
Yes, you use your bonus action. So with your first weapon, you can use like how you normally use your weapon using your attack action.
Normal attack roll.
Yeah, and if you want to use your second weapon, you use your bonus action. Normal attack roll.
Are there any debuffs?
You don't add your ability modifier to the damage of the bonus attack unless that modifier is negative because we hate you.
So you're really getting a bit of extra damage in. It's basically equivalent to fighting with 1 big weapon. So instead of rolling a d12 for your warhammer, sledgehammer, fuck off beast, you're rolling
2d8s or whatever.
2d6s probably.
Yeah.
I think one-handed weapons like cap out at d6s. I'm sure there's one with a d8.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, that's pretty straightforward. I
Yeah.
think that's something people often forget as well. They're like,
Yeah,
why would I
probably.
use a short sword? It's just
It's
1d6. This one is a higher dice.
It's also important to realize though that like you don't add your ability modifier to the damage.
Yeah,
That actually like might affect.
So your bonus attack is like a mini attack.
Yeah.
So you get your main attack and a mini attack.
Yeah, it's your your masturbating hand versus your non-masturbating. Any questions, T-Rain? It's a safe space. It's okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean,
God, you're an idiot!
Even just thinking you might have.
How do you not understand us perfectly?
oh, this is not how I imagine safe space to be.
It's okay, if you don't have a question, we can...
Well, actually, there was one, but I'm not sure it's related.
Go on, hit us
Ask
with it.
away. And
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
just- we'll
so
insult you if
I-
it's not.
Safe space. So about weapons, is there limits to like what kind of weapons I can have? As in, like, if I have a giant battle axe, first, like, what defines if I can have that giant battle axe? And then on the other hand, are there like 2-handed weapons, so I cannot have a secondary weapon?
So the biggest cap that's going to be on all these things is your proficiency.
Yeah.
So you can use weapons that you are not proficient in you're just not going to get that proficiency bonus to your rolls, which is a huge part, especially in the later levels. If you're getting a +4 to all your attack rolls, you won't be getting that, which is a huge difference in the long run.
Yeah, so, and to answer your question about the 2-weapon thing, if you have, like, you can even just imagine if you have, like, a 2-handed great axe or whatever.
It is in the rules.
Yes, you can't have, like, a second weapon. What's interesting, though, is that the weapons that you can have 2-handed, like 2 weapons with, are also quite limited. You can't just have 2 big things that you can hold with one hand. They have to be light weapons, specifically.
Yeah, they have their own tag.
So light weapons is the tag.
Okay. Another, like, on a bit of a tangent here, was that there's maybe not really a straightforward answer to this, but what is the kind of... I assume you can have shields in this game as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
They give you +2 AC?
+2 AC. I was thinking about that, you know, me having 2 weapons versus me having a weapon and a shield, but it's more of a balancing act, I guess.
Yeah, so you're just basically having more AC. If you have heavy armor as well, which is, I think, averages about 16 AC, plus a shield, 18 AC base. That's pretty high AC.
Okay.
Especially for a low-level character.
Yeah,
So-
and if you have a shield, then that also limits, like, what kinds of weapons you can have in your, like, fighting hand, and then, like, there are some abilities that make you able to do things with your shield, too. You might be able to attack with your shield.
Oh,
if
yeah,
have,
you can just bash them with the shield in the face.
That is a thing. That is a
Alright.
thing that you can have in certain classes.
Okay.
But that's like a special class feature.
What's next?
So, grappling. You've been hitting them with your sword.
We
and
talked a
stuff.
little bit about this in the climbing.
We did, because I'm a barbarian and I like talking about grappling.
What is grappling?
So, grappling is when you don't want to touch them with the steel of your sword, and instead you want to feel their face with your bare hands. Yeah, so with your grappling, you're basically trying to control their movement.
Okay.
You'll be making an ability check, an athletics check, and it'll be against their either athletics or acrobatics. They get to choose. They'll probably choose the higher one.
Who would think?
Unless they're dumb.
Yeah, so then it's just it's a skill check that you make.
Okay, so it's a
we talked about
contest.
before.
And we should also note that you can use these kind of skill contests in really creative ways.
Yeah, so like
throughout.
this is kind of like an example of this kind of skill contest.
Yeah.
So if there's something that your players want to do that are quite similar to this, then you can use these rules to...
Yeah, we talked about some things like this. Say tripping someone up with a bow. That could be a sleight of hand or a stealth or a straight dexterity check against their perception, maybe. So you can have these kind of skill contests crop up in combat if you have some really creative players.
Yeah. And when you do, if you succeed on grappling them, if you fail, then you suck.
Okay.
But if you succeed, then you get to move, you get to control their movement, and you get to move them.
That's pretty good. Throw them in the lava.
Toss them in the lava. Which we'll talk about in the damage episode.
If you fail a grappling, does that give you a disadvantage in a way? Like, you know, I'm assuming I'm attacking you, I'm trying to grapple you, I missed that somehow. I can imagine you being in real life being able to stab me in the back a bit more proficiently.
Well, it doesn't give you a straight advantage on an attack, but I think the biggest thing you miss out is doing any damage,
Yeah, you
doing
don't-
anything.
No, but I meant
use
from
your
that, like the
attack,
one I was attacking, like, does it give you an advantage to them?
They don't get advantage or anything for the next thing, but the big disadvantage is losing that action economy.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're still fine. You just have to bear the shame of having missed your grapple and wait for your
And the
next
party
turn.
will judge you. I'm judging you right now, and I don't even know if you've ever done it.
Such a nice game. Such a nice game.
Please
guys.
come back anytime. We love having you here, C-Ray.
All right, is there anything else? Is that it?
Well, yes, when you're moving your grappled creature, like I said earlier, it's half of your movement speed.
Okay.
And
So difficult terrain.
difficult terrain-ish.
Hey.
They are the terrain now. And if they want to escape the grapple, so on their action, they have to spend their action to try to escape, and it's their athletics or acrobatics against your athletics.
So you basically remake the check.
You remake the check every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Easy stuff.
Yeah, and then similarly, if you want to shove a creature, so shoving can be when you want to just move them away, or you want to knock them prone. This will also be an athletics check against their athletics or acrobatics.
So it's exactly the same thing, you're just choosing a different outcome.
Yeah, so they either get knocked prone if you succeed, then they either get knocked prone or they get pushed 5 feet away.
So if you use this, you don't get to choose which way they go. They have to move away from you. This is the big difference between this and shoving someone to the side, because it's harder to shove someone to the side, but you get to choose a direction, kind of, which way they go, whereas shoving you just pushing them back.
If you shove them to be prone, does that give you an advantage?
Yes, you have advantage on attacks against that creature.
We've talked about this last episode, actually. So yeah, if you're prone...
Really listen to this, I guess.
Yeah, you should have done your research coming here.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, so if you shove them, there's lots of reasons why you want them to be prone. If you shove them to be prone, then that can put you at an advantage when you're attacking them.
Cool, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Everything done?
That is everything that we are willing to
reveal this time. Come back later.
see the next compartment.
See what other morsels we'll give you.
Our secret treasure chest of D&D.
All right, from the three of us signing off.
Yeah, how's your
See you
experience?
guys in the next
It's
one.
been great. It's been great. I'm really happy to be here again in the biggest D&D podcast in whole of People's Republic of China.
Thank you. We didn't pay you to say that.
Yeah, did not definitely. What is this bill coming in? I don't know. Yeah.
All right, from us to you, goodbye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Farewell.
Thanks for coming on, T-Ray.
And comment if you want me to be here again.
Oh no, there's so much room for disappointment.
No.
Please comment. These feelings are so fragile.
All right, I love you guys. See you in the next one.
See ya.
Bye.
If you have to fart, now is a really good time.